What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So we had some interesting news break as undefeated two-division world champion, reigning WBC middleweight world champion, Jermall Lions-only Charlo, who has 32 wins, no loss, no draw, 22 wins by way of knockout, 32 years of age, 6 feet tall with a 74-inch arm reach. He called out undefeated fellow middleweight world champion, two-division world champion, superstar boxer, Demetrius "Boo-Boo" Andrade, who has 31 wins, no losses, no draw, 19 wins by way of knockout, 34 years of age, 6 feet tall with a 74-inch arm reach. This is shocking because the boxing fans and boxing pundits and boxing world have been calling for Jermall Charlo to face off against Demetrius "Boo-Boo" Andrade. Okay? Now, Andrade, the last time we saw him in the ring was November of last year when he stopped Jason Quigley in his fight. Okay? That was the last time we saw Demetrius Andrade in his career in the ring. Okay? Who's relatively been inactive. And the last time we saw Jermall Charlo in the ring was June of 2021 when he defeated Juan Marcel Montiel. Okay? So with that said, he won a unanimous decision. We've been calling for these two guys to fight because both have been void of the big fights in their career, period. Okay? Demetrius Andrade has yet to have that big career-defining fight. Jermall Charlo has yet to have that big career-defining fight. Jermall Charlo is the WBC middleweight world champion. Demetrius Andrade is the WBO, World Boxing Organization middleweight world champion. They both undefeated. It should be a no-brainer, a match made in heaven. It should just be an easy fight to make. Okay? Jermall Charlo, he's fought 2 world champions by the time they was world champions in his entire career. And he's 32 with 32 fights. 3 if you include Julian J. Rod Williams becoming a champion some years after he defeated Julian J. Rod Williams for Jermall Charlo. So a total of 3 in his entire career. Okay? Demetrius Andrade, I believe he fought and beat 2 in his entire career. Okay? So neither guy are showing and living up to the promise that they both have. So this is a fight that the fans have been calling for quite some time. Okay? For quite a bit of time, but it just hasn't come to fruition. The fans, they just got tired of calling for this fight. And most recently, you had Demetrius Andrade come out and he called out, Demetrius Andrade came out and he called out former world champion Chris Eubanks Jr., British superstar middleweight title contender, opposed the fight to calling out and aggressively pursuing Jermall Charlo for a unification bout. Okay? Now, so with that said, right, Jermall Charlo does a live stream. Now, again, Demetrius Andrade, he just did the live stream and he aggressively called out Chris Eubanks and said that Sky Sports was offering $1 million for Chris Eubanks and Demetrius Andrade to fight, and he was saying that Chris Eubanks Jr. needs to answer the bell, and he was saying, like you always do, it's me again, come on, come answer the bell, let's make this fight happen, you know, stop avoiding me, right? Which is ironic because Chris Eubanks is calling out a welterweight in his own right, who he's 32 years of age as well, and he should not be pursuing welterweights. Okay, he's 32 wins, 2 losses, no draw, 23 wins by way of knockout, 5'11" with a 72-inch arm reach at 32 years of age. Okay, so Demetrius Andrade made no mention of Jermall Charlo. Now Jermall Charlo, who has been pursuing and saying that he was never going to fight Demetrius Andrade because of what took place some years ago when Demetrius Andrade was on par to face off against, you know, Jermall Charlo's identical twin brother, who's the 3-time junior middleweight world champion, who is currently the undisputed junior middleweight world champion, superstar boxer Jermall Lions-only Charlo. Okay, with a record of 35 wins, 1 loss, 1 draw, 19 wins by way of knockout. He is obviously 32 years of age, 6 feet tall with a 73.5-inch arm reach. Okay, so they have been aggressively, having this rival between themselves, Jermall and Jermall Charlo, and Demetrius Andrade. Demetrius Andrade, he reportedly pulled out the fight. He had everything set in stone. and the fight was supposed to come to fruition. And according to Jermall Charlo's side, Demetrius Andrade, he pulled out the fight and didn't make the fight happen because he wanted more money, okay? And the fight, according to, it was 10 days before the fight, and they wasn't happy that he did so. And so, according to well-renowned Hall of Fame trainer Ronnie Shields, who trained at one time Jermall and Jermall, he only trains Jermall now, he stated that Jermall had informed him that he would never give Demetrius Andrade the opportunity. He would never break bread and share and give him the opportunity to make money. That's what Ronnie Shields said, so it would never happen. So yesterday, Jermall Charlo, he does a live stream, and he says, I want to fight Demetrius Andrade next. That's who I want to fight. I'm looking to fight Demetrius Andrade. Let's make that fight happen. Demetrius Andrade, as he calls him, right? Whatever his name is, I want to fight Demetrius Andrade. He does a lot of talking. Let's fight him next. So stop asking me. This is what he said. So he said he wants to fight Demetrius Andrade next in his next fight. And he said, tells the fans to stop asking him what he wants to do and who he wants to fight. Then he went down a list of names. He even mentioned Chris Eubanks Jr. He mentioned Gennady Triple G Golovkin. And he said that, he eventually want to fight David Benavidez and Canelo Alvarez, right? Obviously, everybody's pursuing Canelo Alvarez, who's viewed as the cash cow and the face of the sport of boxing. So he's saying that those are the two fights that he wants to make. But next, he wants to make the fight with Demetrius Andrade. I call cap. I don't believe that Jermall Charlo and Demetrius Andrade truly want to fight each other. I think that they are comfortable and settled with the level of opposition that they're facing en route to possibly landing and securing the fight with Canelo Alvarez. As two-time WBC super middleweight world champion, Mexican Ecuadorian superstar boxer David Benavidez stated, everybody thinks they're entitled to this Canelo Alvarez fight, but they don't want to fight each other and mix it up with each other. And so because of that, he stated that it's unfortunate, but he wants to fight these guys and they just don't want to fight him. This is a fight that should be automatic. Now, Gennady Golovkin, who Jermall Charlo just mentioned, he's fighting Canelo Alvarez in a trilogy and moving up out the weight class September 17th. So he's not even going to be available. September 17th, he's moving out the weight class. He's going up to fight Canelo Alvarez in the trilogy. So the belt's going to be vacant. The WBA, he just unified the belts against Ryota Murata. Triple G just did, okay? And so he's the unified champion. He holds the WBA and IBF titles, okay? But he's getting ready to vacate those belts. Who else is at 160? Why would you call out a challenger in Chris Eubanks Jr. opposed to just aggressively pursuing each other in a unification bout? That just makes more sense. But they seem to be heading in different directions. I don't believe for a second that Jermall Charlo truly would pursue and look to make a deal with Demetrius Andrade. Now, Demetrius Andrade, he has, I believe, still has one fight left. He was scheduled to face Zach Parker in his debut at 168 pounds, but he suffered a shoulder injury reportedly, and he'd been put on the shelf. And then there was no talks about him revisiting that or when he's coming back in the ring. He just resurfaced out of nowhere and called out Chris Eubanks Jr. Nobody knew what was to come with Demetrius Andrade. Jermall Charlo was scheduled to face former junior middleweight WBO world champion Jaime Munguia, but that fell through because Jaime Munguia signed to Golden Boy Promotions and he signed to The Zone, and they had an issue because Jermall Charlo's obviously with the PBC, Premier Boxing Champion, founder advisor Al Heyman, and he showcased his talents on Showtime with Showtime President of Sports Steven Espinosa. So according to reports, they had agreed to everything, but then according to Oscar De La Hoya and Golden Boy Promotions and The Zone wanted to be involved, and Showtime wasn't willing to share and play nice in the sandbox, so that fell apart, which saw Jermall Charlo then be scheduled to fight Macy Selecki Juneteenth weekend, but then he suffered a back injury and had to be pulled out of his fight. So he suffered an injury going into a fight that nobody wanted to see, and Andre suffered an injury going into a fight nobody wanted to see. Now they're both healthy. It should be automatic. This shouldn't be hard to make. again, like I said, Demetrius Andrade, I believe he has one more fight left on his contract. So let's see how this unfolds and plays out moving forward. But I don't believe that they're going to fight each other. I don't believe Jermall Charlo is going to put his best foot forward to make the fight happen. And I don't think Demetrius Andrade has showed much interest in fighting Jermall Charlo. So in that whole, video he did calling out Chris Eubanks, he should have been mentioning Jermall Charlo from the beginning. He never even acknowledged or made mention of Jermall Charlo. At least Jermall Charlo in his video made mention of Demetrius Andrade. So I call cap. I don't see it ever happening. That's all I got for y'all. Make sure you hit the like button. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue, Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon to get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all in one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shout out to the entire LDBC. Shout out to New Media. Shout out to Black Media Row. Make sure you like and share these videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.